Alrighty, I think I might need to move my mat back so you can see me. We are ready for core to yin. All you need is 2 blocks and your mat. So we're gonna get started by coming down onto our backs, and we'll work on some belly breath. So come onto your mat, onto your back. All right, you can invite your hands down to the base of the belly. Just start to settle in and settle down. And inviting that breath to touch down to the base of your belly. Letting your jaw be relaxed. Feel the belly rise. Feel the belly fall. So on that exhalation, you can feel the belly button drop towards the spine. Noticing how you feel. Taking a moment to set an intention for this practice, or even your day. And then when you're ready, drawing knees in towards the chest, and let's gently rock from side to side. And then lowering the feet down, you want to think of, on the exhalation, we're going to do some pelvic rocks. So you want to think about the pubic bone pulling down towards the spine, that lower back melting down towards the mat. And then as you inhale, does that rolling through the lower pelvis, the back of the sacrum, does that tilt, the lower back lifts. So exhale, we're engaging those front abdominal muscles, drawing that back body down towards the mat. And as we inhale, rolling through the sacrum, and then that front body lengthens. So exhale, we're shortening the distance of that front body. Inhale, we're lengthening. I'm just aware of how this lower back is moving today. And then we're going to leave it back in what we call imprint in Pilates. So there's that tilt back. We're going to bring our hands behind the head, and we're going to have the heels slightly forward from underneath the knees, but the knees are in line with those bony protrusions at the front of the hips. And then we'll start with our curl up. So that's a chin nod is with the in breath, and then the exhale through pursed lips. So we're curling up. Our gaze goes directly between our knees. Inhale, we roll back down. Exhale, curling up. Inhale, rolling on down. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, roll. All right. We are now going to take that left leg, take it across our right, pick up the knees. We're going to do the same thing. So chin nod, curl up. We're going to inhale, hold, and then roll back down. So we're going to do our strongest movement through the exhale. We're going to do 6 to the side, and yes, 6 to the other side. So inhale, chin nod, exhale, curl up, inhale, hold, exhale, roll down. Inhale, chin nod, curl up, hold, roll down. We go for 4, 3, 2, last one. Yay. Whew. Let's switch. All right, same thing, 6 here. Chin nod, exhale, hold, roll down with the exhale, chin nod, curl forward, hold, roll down, chin nod, curl forward, inhale, hold, exhale, crawl down, head comes back into neutral. Lost my count. Let's do one more, because I think that's right. Alrighty, let's unthread the knees. Let's do some window wipers, wash that out. Okay, what do I have next? Okay, yes. Let's rock and roll on and up. So this one, we're gonna have our hands behind us. We're gonna roll our shoulders back. We're gonna keep that length in the core engaged. We're going to pick up the knees and the shins. And so the exhale, we're going to hug the knees over towards the left. And then we're going to push the legs out, lean back, and then pull the knees over to the right. So we're going to be going side to side. Let's get a total of 6 to each side. So knees to left shoulder, inhale, reach the legs long, exhale. So that's 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Relax, come forward, take a breath in, exhale, side out, and let's do that again. So shins up, roll the shoulders back, so knees over to the left shoulder, push the legs forward, lean back, keep the chest lifted, to the right. So that's 5, 4, 3, last one. Whew. All right, deep breath in, full breath out. We're gonna come back onto our backs, rolling on down. All right, so from here, some people like to have sort of like a diamond shape with their hands underneath the sacrum, and it helps with that slight tilt back so you can have your back bottom ribs connected to the mat so that you can keep this front body engaged and it stops that popping and that pressure going into the lower back. So we really want to think about those back bottom ribs connected to the mat. We're going to lift the legs up. You can also have your knees bent for this if your hip flexors are biting in too much. So we want to think, inhale as a prepare, exhale, legs drop down, and then inhale to hold and exhale, come up. So you can do it the same here. We're going to do 6 rounds of that. So when you're ready, I'm going to inhale, lower, exhale, lift, sniff, blow through pursed lips. Last one. All right, we're going to do the same thing, but we're going to also add in a lift of the sacrum off of the mat. So we're going to lower down and lift the legs up, and then using that core, lift just a little off the mat, whatever you get. Let's do 6. I think this is my last one. And then hug the knees into chest, maybe gently rocking side to side. Deep belly breath. Let's rock and roll up. All right, let's just take a breather for those hip flexors, and we'll come into a nice uni pose just to counter all of that. Because there was quite a bit for the hip flexors, especially if you're overusing them. So let's bring the soles of the feet together, and we'll have a nice diamond shape, and we're just going to hinge forward. Think about the heart being casted forward. We're going to relax the shoulders back and down. Full breath in. Full breath out. You might just gently, slowly rock side to side. Alright. Coming back to neutral. So lift those knees up, and then we're going to come over onto all fours. Alright, hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Let's tuck the toes under. Let's exhale into a deep cat stretch. Inhale, lengthen the sit bones back and up. Exhale, rounding through your spine. Inhale, lengthening back and up. Exhale. Alright, inhale to neutral. Let's drop down onto our forearms. We're going to walk our knees back. So some people might be right here with their knees down for a forearm plank, or the knees might be lifted. What you want to look at is that the elbow is underneath the shoulder, and then you want to think about, as you're in the stance, so you're keeping the chest nice and open, and you're thinking about those outer shoulders away. So there's this whole broadening, not only through the front body, but even through the back body. All right, so push firmly down into those forearms. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, lift those knees if you're lifting those knees. Lengthen the sit bones towards the heels. We're going to hold here and breathe. Inhaling fully. Exhale completely. Inhaling. Exhale. We have 15 more seconds. You can all do this. We can all do anything for 30 seconds. Good. 5 more seconds. If your knees are lifted, you can lower them now. We're going to press down onto our hands from our forearms. We're going to lift our knees and pull back into downward facing dog. If downward facing dog isn't working for you today, you can do a nice puppy stretch. So just being with where you need to be. Full breath in. Full breath out. Okay, so we're going to be moving from downward facing dog into plank. Now, if downward facing dog is too much, you can do from puppy. So make sure that the knees are far enough back that you can have that nice half plank, and then you're going to be pulling back and then coming forward. So no matter where we are, we want to think about really pulling this front body in during these movements so that we don't have this arching, because then we take away all of the work through the core and we just hurt ourselves in our lower backs. So if you need to, take a break at any time and just do your best for today. Let's do a total of 12. So rooting down into your hands, pull your hips up and back. Second toe is pointing forward, so we keep that nice alignment. So our gaze is going to go from between our ankles, move forward along our mat, and just in front of the mat. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, belly bend to spine, pulls the hips up and back. Then inhale, moving forward. So my gaze is just right in front of my mat. Exhale. In breath. Exhale. Sniff. Moving with your breath. A total of 12. Feeling the shoulders move around nicely on the back. Still reaching those sit bones back and up or to the heels if you're in that plank. And one more. Good. And we'll lower down onto our knees. We'll take a stretch in our child's pose. Relax through the lower back. Full breath in. Full breath out. All right. From here, we're going to come into our obliques and some side work. So you can do this with your hand extended or on your elbow. So this is like variation of Ashisasana, a side plank. So if you're in your forearms, so this can help if you've got wrist stuff going on. You want that elbow underneath the shoulder, top of the shoulder away from the ears. And then you're going to be lifting your hips up, and those sit bones essentially are reaching down to your heels here. Or you can come and do it from here. I am going to do it from my forearm. And I'm going to be working on my scapula shoulder stability here. So up to you. The same rules will apply. You're just thinking about stabilizing through your shoulders, keeping a nice long linear line. We're all going to press our thighs forward. And then from here, that top leg's going to be lifted and our left arm's going to be out in front. We're going to exhale, pull knee to elbow, and then inhale, lengthen. Exhale. I'm doing a total of 8. 3, 4, 5. Keep those hips lifted. 6, 7, and 8. Hold. Keep those hips lifted for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower down. And we'll do the same to the other side. All right. Left elbow underneath the shoulder if you're taking that variation, or hand underneath the shoulder. Prepare your stance. Lift that outer hip up. Sit bones reaching down, so we have a nice long waist here. This part of the body is engaged. We're going to take right arm overhead, right leg long, and then exhale for that crunch knee to elbow, and then lengthen. Keep the hips lifted. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stretch and hold. For 8, keep that leg lifted. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lower on down. Nicely done. Last thing, we'll do a Russian twist. So you can use 1 or 2 blocks here actually. You can use a block for between your inner thighs, that connection of midline that I often talk about. And then another block for your legs. Also, I have cork blocks. They're heavy. They're like a weight in themselves. So if you're lifted here, it's that extra weight. I'm going to do it without, and I'm going to lift my shins. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be going from side to side. And we want to try and keep our hips from swinging side to side, so that the work is going through the torso and working those obliques. So we're going to do a total of 12, so we get 6 each side. So your feet can be down or your feet can be lifted. We want to have that sense of lift through the chest. And we're going to bring our block over to the left. You can do it without a block, to neutral, to the right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Awesome work. All right, I think we all deserve our yin practice now. So let's pull the flesh away from those sit bones. We're going to come into caterpillar and have a nice flexion through the back body. So if your hamstrings were really tight You can take a rolled blanket or a rolled towel underneath your knees. If you have a bolster at home, but don't feel like you have much give and that you can't come forward very much, you can always have a bolster with sort of between your inner ankles so you can come forward and relax your forehead. Another place, if you have a bolster, you can come forward here. If you don't have a bolster, but you have blocks at home, you can stack your blocks and then move forward. Remember, at the end, so our feet are nice and floppy. And you can just relax here. And just, so we're moving from the chin through our spine and rolling down. Sorry, I didn't give you those cues. I just kind of flopped into it. So feeling the whole back of the legs from the heels to the sit bones all heavy. Just letting go. Just let those shoulders slide away from the ears. Jaw soft. Eyes soft. Let's start to feel the back body. Get curious about the sensations in the back body as we breathe. We inhale, the rib cage is expanding. We exhale, everything's softening. And with time in our body does surrender a little bit, we might be able to sink deeper into our shape. So we can adjust props and just sort of melt down a little bit deeper if the body allows. Remember, we're not forcing in, we're just the sense of allowing, of fully surrendering. It's almost a little bit easier after all that core work just to give in and surrender. We did all that yang, and we just get to melt into the yin world. Taking 3 more delicious breaths here. And slowly rolling on up. All right. From here, we're going to be moving into a lunge. So we're going to first bend into our knees. We're going to heel toe our feet wide. We'll bring our hands behind, and then we're just going to wash our knees side to side. And we'll heel toe in, and then we'll come onto all fours. So here we can have our blocks underneath our hands. We'll bring our right foot forward. So remember, blocks have 3 settings: low, medium, high. So use blocks where you need them. All right, so right shin straight up and down. We want to create some distance from that right heel to that left knee. So just wiggle around, inch that right foot forward if you need. And then untuck those back toes and then just melt here. Let those hips sink. Feeling that left thigh, feeling the sit bones comfortably heavy. Close your eyes, re-soften through your shoulders. Just feel that breath meeting the base of your belly. And softness through the jaw, through your eyes. And yeah, 3 more deep breaths in here. We're going to exhale and wash this out by pulling our hips back. Inhale, rocking forward. Exhale, rocking back. All right, we're going to bring that right hand and block into the inside. Heel toe that right foot off to the side. Bring that knee back. And we're going to do the same thing to the side. So left foot comes forward. Heel toe that foot in. And then again, we're going to sink forward into our lunge. Left shin straight up and down, left sit bone dropping down, shoulders melting away from the ears, and this weight just dropping like an anchor. And see if you can not sit back into that back knee, but rather pull your weight forward, and you'll notice that difference in your right quad. So it's like the weight's coming more to the top part of the kneecap, if that makes sense. Softening where the tension is. Let's get 3 more deep breaths in. We'll wash that out. The exhale brings the hips back, half lunge. Inhale, or half splits to lunge, sorry. Back and forth. And then we'll bring that left foot off to the side, heel toe it back. All right, so the next thing I want to do is deer pose. So deer pose is nice, especially if we have stuff that goes on over our knees. This is a different way of doing pigeon. So we're going to drop our hips down. So let's drop that right hip down. We're going to swing that right shin so that the right shin is parallel to the top of the mat and my foot is facing the long side of the mat. My left knee and shin is facing the long side of the mat. So I have these two 90-degree angles with my legs. From here, I am going to start and pull my chest forward. My left hip, my left sit bone is not touching the ground. And then from here, depending on where you make it, you can bring whatever props, cushions, items that you have underneath to bring that ground towards you. So just letting yourself move closer to the ground. What you're looking at is no pain in knees or ankles, but rather that you can feel the sensations of the stretch into that right hip and glutes. We're just breathing. My chest, the center of my chest is over the center of my right knee. I am really tight in my right hip right now, so this is feeling good and juicy. Some people might be able to almost be lying flat. Some people might have sort of their chest more centered over the center of their shin. It's just going to depend on your body today. Another place you can be is you can have that block underneath your forehead. That's kind of a nice place to relax, especially because the head can be super heavy. If you're lower down, elbows can be down on the ground and you can cradle your head with your hands. You can relax your chin in your hands. So just working with what we have today. Start to engage the core, push down into the hands, slowly come on up. And then we're going to bring our weight back. We'll rock this out with some window wipers, rocking knees out to the side, up to neutral, over to the other side. And we're going to repeat the same pose to the other side. So all we're going to do is through that window wiper, wash over to the other side. You can bring your props with you. So now the left shin is facing the short side of the mat. Right shin, the long side of the mat. Weight is really heavy into that left side, pushing our weight back into the hips. And then from here, we're going to hinge forward. And then you're just going to approach that edge, that whole concept, principles of meeting that edge. Shoulders relaxing. Just letting the body get used to this shape. Returning to the sensations of your breath. As that edge maybe softens, you can sink down a little. chitter chatter. If there's lots of chitter chatter in your midday, anchor into the breath, and maybe it's just simply talking to yourself, breathing in, breathing out, or simply in, out. One more breath here. We'll push down to rise up. Walk our hands behind us and take those window wipers. Such a hard day for us when all this core work. Alright, we'll heel toe feet in. We're going to come onto our backs and come down for some nice twists. So relaxing onto your back, and take your arms out wide, and then from here we're going to slide our hips over to the left, let the knees drape over to the right. If you need props so that you can keep your shoulder blades anchored, you can place something underneath that bottom knee or between the knees. So fill the void. Use what you need to support your body. Cycle of breath here. And then exhale, bring those knees up to neutral. Slide the hips over to the right. And then from here, same thing, knees drift over to the left. And the right arm can walk out to the side. Maybe your gaze follows over to your right hand. And you want to think about breathing into the waist, into the lower back. Bring our hand to neutral. Exhale, bring the knees to neutral. Slide the hips over. And then stretch the legs out, coming into your Shavasana. Taking what time you have to relax. Just taking some nice deep breaths here. Starting with a nice deep inhale. Exhale, letting that go. Inhaling. Exhaling. Deep breath in. connection of the back body to your mat. The breath, nice and smooth, gentle. So for those of you who have to race off into the rest of your day, just making that slow transition. And for those of you who have time and can linger in your Shavasana, then taking that time and just following your breath and just being present for yourself in Shavasana. Until next time, namaste.